You know, I'm not gonna lie, I didn't express it on my last couple of videos, but honestly, I'm really frustrated with the Clippers. I mean, really, where they are right now compared to where they should be is just insane. I mean, this is a team with Kawhi and Paul George on it, and now they added Russell Westbrook, which a lot of people, have thought that Russell Westbrook can bring, some type of inspiration to this team and, help them win a championship. You know what I'm saying? And the way he plays some of these nights and what I've seen so far, he's not hurting the Clippers. So if he's not hurting them, too badly, he's definitely, helping. Now he has had some bad games, of course, where he had several 6-7, turnovers and all those things. But I mean, for the most part, he's been more in control than I thought he would be. So I'm giving him a little bit of credit, but at the same time, I still don't know how you can win a championship with Russell Westbrook on your team just because the way he plays overall is not really championship, material. It's just individualized material. But either way, however you want to look at that, that's fine. But overall, this team just put him, is just in a bad predicament. The one game, as I said, where they were playing against the New Orleans Pelicans a few days ago, and Kawhi plays the first half, didn't play the second half because of the load management thing. I mean, I feel like that came down from the front office, Jerry West or somebody like that, and the medical staff, where they made it to where he's not able to play the back-to-backs. But I mean, that's really weird to me because it's like, this is do or die. The Clippers are in a situation where they can actually fall into the play-in tournament and be like the 9th seed in the play-in tournament and have to fight their way all the way from there to go to the NBA Finals, which would be like just astronomically, like very, very tough. I mean, that would just be, one of those situations where it's like it's very unlikely. But regardless, if that's where they land, they have to try to make that happen. But either way, they don't want to fall in that situation. So they have to try to, do things better, especially on the defensive end. I keep telling you guys, and I know you heard me say it enough, and I know some of you believe it, maybe some of you don't. And I respect your opinion either way. But this team just really needs to lock down on defense because I'm telling you, like, they're letting teams do things against them that they really shouldn't. Now, the Pelicans, granted, Brandon Ingram had one of those nights. Him and Kawhi had the duel back and forth. Kawhi dropped 40. Brandon Ingram dropped 36. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to him for playing real well. But regardless, they should beat the Pelicans because honestly, the Clippers are just the better team overall. And it's no doubt about that. I mean, the Clippers just, they have the deeper roster and they have, so many options they can throw at you. You know what I'm saying? And I feel like they should have beat the Pelicans like, both times. Either way, they should have beat them the last time. I mean, for the most part, because like I said, they just have the better team and, they have the more experienced team to me. And, even with Kawhi not playing the second half, I still feel like that's a game they could have won or, not even that of the second game, but the first game, that was very confusing. But even the second time they played them, I feel like they should have beat the Pelicans, you know what I'm saying? But they came out the second time with, not the same, energy and things like that. So it just didn't work out for him as well. And then, like I said, Brandon Ingram had a game of his career, so far. And it was a, great game for him. But overall, it was disappointment for the Clippers because, you're in this battle, in this race. And now, the Lakers, have an opportunity, to go up a little bit further and possibly, surpass the Clippers. So, I mean, it's an uphill battle, right now for the Clippers. You know what I'm saying? They don't want to fall in the play-in tournament where they was already supposed to be in the playoffs, one of the teams that's locked in the playoffs, even though, the injuries, but with all the depth they have, they still should have been able to manage. And that's what a lot of people thought about this team. Kawhi and PG actually did load manage. Hypothetically, both of them did at the same time during the season. They had so so much depth where they can actually skate through and, win some games with all the depth that they have and beat some teams while, Kawhi and PG rest some. And they go back out there and they, do their thing when they're on the court. And because, especially Kawhi coming off the ACL, I knew they were going to load manage him even more than what he already load manages himself, when he's healthy. But either way, it doesn't matter. The depth of this team has when both of them or one of them on the floor between Kawhi and PG, if both of them on the floor, I think they should definitely be looked at as one of the contenders to win a championship. But even still, regardless of that, this team should be in a lot better position than what they are. I feel like they left games on the table. I feel like they've left, they left some games incomplete. And then, they did the trade, during the season, mid-season here, and the trade was good. Bones Highland, them, they really are a good addition to the Clippers. I really hated to see Reggie Jackson go, but I just feel like, the team is not where they need to be mentally, you know what I'm saying? And I don't know what it is. I just feel like there's something going on in the Clippers locker room where, of course, we don't know about it because they're a very private organization. But I really just don't think Kawhi Leonard's feeling the Russell Westbrook thing, the trade. I really don't think he is. I think Kawhi is being professional, dealing with it. But I think secretly he just really doesn't like it because I don't feel like Kawhi looks at him as championship material or the championship caliber type player that you could win with. I feel like he looks at Paul George as maybe not. He may look at Paul George the same way, but he looks at Paul George more of a threat offensively. And when Paul George is locked in, he can play some defense very well too. You know what I'm saying? Because Paul George is a two-way player. So, he sees some admiration. He admires some of Paul George's game because, their game is kind of similar. But I don't think he really views Russell Westbrook as one of those players that can put them over the hump. You see what I'm saying? As in the point guard they've been needing all this time that they never had. And, with that being said, if that is true, that's some dissension in the locker room. That's some division in the locker room. You see what I'm saying? And, of course, it's not going to come out no time soon, I don't believe, because the Clippers are very good at being private in an organization in that way. But you can't win when, the chemistry isn't there, and you can't win when the guys aren't available. And this team has been plagued by injuries and, just everything that you can think of, is happening to this team. You know what I'm saying? And I can't believe they're in a situation where they could fall into the play-in tournament, whereas I feel like they should have been a lock at the 4th or 5th seed, by now with all the talent that they have on this team and some of the games that they just literally let go that they didn't play to their capabilities. You see what I'm saying? And this is what you get out of that. You get a situation where you're looking around and looking at each other like, how did we get here? But you got here because of your lack of defense and not playing defense the way you're supposed to, and shutting teams down where, which would be your advantage because you got all these wing players and all these lengthy players. And now they're starting to play somebody like Robert Covington, which they should have been playing Robert Covington. Honestly, I wouldn't even mind Robert Covington was in the starting lineup and Nico, Batum backs him up as his backup, because that would be even better, really, if you ask me, because Robert Covington's one of them guys where he has good instincts on defense and he can knock down some threes, surprisingly, you know what I'm saying? So they need to really, think about that as well. Ty Lue got his work cut out for him because this team, if they don't, get to where they're supposed to, it's a bust season. But honestly, fighting from the play-in tournament is going to be just awfully tough. So hopefully they figure out a way to do it, because this is championship or bust for them. And honestly, it doesn't look too great right now. If you ask me, there's a lot of things we can point at. We can point fingers at any one of the players, but it's a team. So we got to just point fingers at the team, at the Clippers themselves. They put themselves in this position. Injuries unfortunately happen, but injuries happen to a lot of teams, but you got to find a way to be better. And I don't know if they really got better adding Russell Westbrook. Their head is above water a little bit right now with Russell Westbrook, but And he's had some good games with the Clippers. He hasn't had bad games, but I just really like the chemistry they had with Terrence Mann before they inserted Russell Westbrook on this team and into the starting lineup. I really like the chemistry they had with Terrence Mann. I feel like Terrence Mann was turning into that stud player that we think that he could be. And I feel like, even though he's playing real well and has the right attitude and everything, but I feel like there's some regression with him a little bit because he's not in the starting lineup and he doesn't have that opportunity to show what he really can do. It's only in spurts he can do it, because he's coming off the bench again. So I just felt like that was a really hard, move, that a hard decision that was made. But I feel like it was the wrong move to make. If you're going to bring Russ on, I feel like he should just work with the second unit and let Terrence Mann still run the point, in the starting lineup, because he was playing very well, and the way him and Kawhi and PG was vibing, with the energy that he brings, and along with him just making the right passes. He ain't got to do nothing fancy, behind the back, but he just made good passes, good solid passes. Got it to Kawhi in his spots, got it in PG in his spots, and I thought everything was going well. But of course they added Russell Westbrook. But like I said, sometimes little things like that can mess up the chemistry of a team of what they're trying to build going forward. And I'm not saying Russell Westbrook is their fault or is their problem, but I'm just saying little things like that come back to haunt you when you were just starting to find your stride and you make a move the way you did, and you lost your first 5 games with Russ, and then you recovered, some of those games, and PG gets hurt. Kawhi carries a load a little bit, wins a couple games in between, had some big games. But like I said, it's regardless of all that, it's all for nothing. They don't win a championship. So whatever decision they made, whether Russ or whether making the trade or trading some guys they shouldn't have traded, it doesn't really matter. All that matters is at the end, they better win a championship, or the bare minimum, as I always say, they better at least make it to a finals.